You know what? I actually did a few pretty smart things while I was single. Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Thrive Singles Podcast. Whether you're single again or still single, stop hating being single and learn to thrive. And welcome back to the Thrive Singles Podcast. Before I get started, I forgot to mention something last week. Back in December, I told you that we had an outside shot in December at tripling our November download total. We didn't quite get there, but we way more than doubled the downloads for November, which was by far our best month yet. So we way more than doubled our best month ever. Thank you so much to all of you for listening. And especially thank those of you who shared the podcast with somebody else, because that's how it grows. I don't have any advertising budget to speak of, so this totally depends on you, your liking and sharing the podcast. And if you want to help out some more, you could also leave a review and a good rating on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you consume quality podcast content. But enough about me. Well, actually, this week it's all about me. And the story of some of the things I did right while I was a single. Like I said last week, I want to start the new year by getting back to basics. So my posts for the next few weeks will deal with some of the basics of learning how to thrive as a single person. In last week's post, I gave my description of what thriving as a single looks like and a few tips on how to get there. And while I was thinking about the different aspects of that and starting to get my ideas together for the next few posts, it brought me back to my time as a single in midlife and some of the things I did right as a single person. Of course, I did some dumb things too. Maybe I'll share those with you in a future episode. But for this week, let's concentrate on the positive. Here's a few of the smartest things I did as a single person. One of the smartest things I did was to take the time to get over my ex in a healthy way, without a rebound relationship, a chemical crutch, or a string of emotionless one-night stands. Like everyone going through a breakup or divorce, I went through the stages. I went through the bootlicking stage, where I would have done almost anything legal to get my ex back. I also went through the anger stage, where just looking at her made my blood pressure go up. You can't help but be affected by that big of a loss. And we all like to think there's some grand gesture, some grandiose thing we can do, some sublimely eloquent thing we can say or write that'll make it all better and get things back to the way they were. But there comes a time when you have to realize there's nothing you can do. When someone makes the choice and moves on, it's just pointless to sit around thinking about them year after year. The truth is, as time went on, I was perfectly fine without her. My happiness and well-being are not dependent on one person's acceptance or rejection of me. And come to find out, there are lots of people who think I'm a pretty good guy. I began to thrive as a single person as I got over my ex. A big part of that was a program called Divorce Care. I can't say enough good things about that program. If you've been through a bad breakup or a divorce, do yourself a huge favor. Check it out at divorcecare.org. I don't have an affiliate link or any kind of relationship with them. I have a great respect for that organization and a great appreciation for all the difference it made in my life. And at the time I needed it the most too, while I was suffering from a devastating midlife divorce. Another thing, staying in my church's music ministry was one of the smartest things I did. It was good on 3 different levels. One way it was good was because I was part of a group. It was an opportunity for regular fellowship and camaraderie that kept me connected to people I had something in common with. Another good thing about it was that it was something I did to help others. Helping others is a great way to start thriving. It takes your focus off of you and helps you focus outwardly on the needs of others. In the case of the music ministry, that meant the needs of my ministry team and the needs of the congregation. A third way it was helpful was that it kept me spiritually healthy. There's something about participating in corporate praise and worship that refreshes your spirit and keeps you God-focused rather than problem-focused. Another one of the smartest things I did was getting involved with a singles group. That gave me the opportunity to interact with singles of the opposite sex in a healthy, safe environment. I should specify here that I found a very healthy singles group with leaders who taught us the things they learned as singles and went the extra mile to make sure the group was safe and healthy. Not all groups are created equal. Trust me, they're not all like that. I did have some experiences with other groups that were not so good. But in this group, I learned to thrive. One of the ways those first few things helped me a lot was with my emotional and spiritual health. But one of the other things I did was I paid attention to my physical health. In times of emotional upheaval, it's especially important to eat well, get enough sleep, and get some exercise. Staying physically healthy also helps you stay emotionally healthy. Look it up, Google it. There are thousands, maybe 10,000 of articles online about the link between diet, exercise, and sleep, and your emotional well-being. If you're feeling down or depressed, get out and go for a walk, a jog, or a bike ride. I had a walking path near my apartment. I took advantage of that and went on long walks every chance I had. That combination of exercise and the outdoors always made me feel better. It still does. And it's a twofer. It helps you keep your weight down and your spirits up, which also makes you more attractive. Because it's much easier to be attractive when you don't look undernourished, overweight, or like you haven't gotten enough sleep lately. Okay, the last thing I want to mention this week is that I spent a lot of non-romantic, non-sexual, quality time with singles of the opposite sex. I can't overemphasize the importance of this. People are way too quick to pair up into these intimate, marriage-light dating relationships. Spend time with singles of the opposite sex, one-on-one and in groups, just talking and having fun. Early on, I made the conscious decision to set aside the romance and sex and just get to know different types of women. Spending this quality time with the opposite sex helped me realize what was important to me. I was able to see how I reacted to, how I felt around, and how I behaved around women with many different temperaments, different personality types, and from different backgrounds. That enabled me to feel more confident when I was ready to pursue a relationship. I didn't have to wonder if the grass was greener on the other side of the fence. I had enough experience with enough different types of women to know for sure what I wanted. And I have a lot more to say about that, and about dating, and just interacting with the opposite sex in general. Make sure you head over to thrivesingles.com and look for the subject dating. I have some very relevant posts there. I hope you found that instructive. One of the other smartest things I did was learning from the successes and failures of other singles. Likewise, one of the smartest things you can do is to learn from people like me, people who have walked the same road you're on. So what about you? What wisdom would you like to share with other singles? What valuable lessons have you learned? Let's talk about it in the comment section at thrivesingles.com, or on Facebook at Thrive Singles Ministry page, or on Twitter at Thrive Singles. I hope to see you there. Next week, more basics. Till then, thrive on. I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. See you next week. Till then, be sure to subscribe and go check out my extensive archive of past posts at thrivesingles.com. And thrive on.
Whoa, thrive. Yeah, come alive. There's more to life. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive. You gotta thrive. There's more to life than to just survive. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive.